Back again as I successfully avoided the CTE given to me by the Big Bang Theory. Now I was gonna do the Hazbin Hotel video, but I have hope that the second season will be better, and not to mention, Cartoon Sheet took all my points. When watching Heather's 1989, I realized it is a gift that keeps on giving, so I feel it is only right I show you how it makes me feel. You can thank me later. A fitting start for Heather's.
God, come on, Veronica. What is your damage, Heather?
We're not even like 5 minutes into the movie, and already she's got hit this much. I don't know about you, but me personally,
I wouldn't take this level of disrespect.
Now it wouldn't be an 80s high school movie without any cliches. And this scene I'll go over will always give John Hughes a run for his money. The movie is named Heathers. I know, I love stating the obvious. But the main character is Veronica Sawyer, and as we saw, is getting so much love already.
Come on, Veronica. What is your damage, Heather?
The three girls we see are all named Heather. Heather Chandler, Heather Duke, and knowing how I'll butcher her name if said repeatedly, how do I say it?
Heather McNamara.
Heather McNamara. I think I said it right. I'll just be calling her Heather Mac. Heather makes Veronica forge a note from a football player named
Kelly's.
because they want to mess with Martha Dunstock at lunch. And in Heather Chandler's words,
Be very. The note will give her shower nozzle masturbation material for weeks.
I beg your pardon?
warning, what you're about to see is pure evil. This level of hate I gotta respect. It is the purest form of bullying I've ever seen. Just gonna let it be known, if you want to see more of Martha's character, you might as well watch the musical. Say thank you to Michael Lehman for this interesting choice of making Martha not important beyond this in the film. That aside, it's obvious what the jocks don't like, so to balance it out, let's hear them talk about someone they do like.
Righteous to be in a Veronica Sawyer, Heather Chandler sandwich. Oh, hell yes. I want to get a Heather and put her on my Johnson and just start spinning around like a goddamn pinwheel. Punch it in.
Disgusting? Repulsive? I see it as the jocks expressing their feelings of women, and we should be more accepting of that. I'm just messing with you. This scene is another of the jocks' antics, and lovely moments like this will only continue from here. Now, a theme I'm sure you're coming to love is that Veronica values being popular so much she follows the Heathers around, no matter how conflicted she is. Another example is following Heather Chandler around as she asked a question.
Now check this out. You win $5 million from the Pulitzer sweepstakes, and the same day that Big Ed guy gives you the check, aliens land on the Earth and say they're gonna blow up the world in 2 days. What do?
Now, most of the answers were boring, but one guy rose above and beyond.
You go to the zoo and you get a lion, and then you put a remote control bomb up its butt, you push the button on the bomb, and you and the lion die like one.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? You a freaky ass nigga. You get your goddamn.
I would kill to be in the writing room, watching them come up with these amazing lines. Heather Chandler giving this Oscar-winning line.
The note will give her shower nozzle masturbation material for weeks.
To this guy with the most insane suicide plan the world has ever seen, and we are only 9 minutes into the movie. Skipping ahead, we are finally introduced to
Jason Dean.
But sadly the scene is just boring, so why not give JD a proper introduction? I mean, it is only fair.
Oh yeah, they seem to have an open door policy for assholes though, don't they?
What did you say, dickhead?
I'll repeat myself.
The craziest part about that is he didn't even get suspended or anything. Like, what kind of school does one have to go to where this happens so often it could be a slap on the wrist? Then again, we all get a little upset, so his reaction is totally valid. if you disagree. Hopefully you can face reality soon. Moving forward, there's a party that Heather C. got invited to, and being the gracious and kind-hearted person she is, said, "Why not bring Veronica?" I'm sure what you're about to see will not be surprising whatsoever.
It's so great to be able to talk to a girl and not have to ask what's your major. I hate that.
That line was so weird on so many levels. A restraining order is just being generous.
High school isn't so uptight. Come on.
Come on now, like, I don't feel so good, okay?
Let's do one of the coats, will be excellent.
What a riz god. Most people will back off when they notice the person is uncomfortable. Some might even say they're sorry, but not him. He doesn't care about consent at all.
You know, I have a little prepared speech I tell my suitor when he wants more than I'd like to give him. Gee, Blake, I had a really nice...
Save the speeches for Malcolm X. I just want to get laid.
Save the speeches for Malcolm X is such a wild thing to say. This riz god was locked in. As we saw, Veronica did the brave thing and get herself out of the most blatant examples of sexual harassment in media. Now, this naturally causes her to want to leave. So, seeing this, there are only two ways Heather C. can respond. Answer A: Heather sees this act as repulsive and helps her in leaving. Or, answer B: she blames Veronica for not going along and uses this experience as a sign she is unfun. If you chose A,
What's your damage? Brad says you're being a real coos.
Heather, I feel really sick, like I'm gonna throw up, so can we please jam now?
No. Hell no.
I'll spare you guys from hearing her throw up. This scene is something else. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm aware the movie is made to be this way for a reason. But portraying a moment where Heather sees Veronica distraught from being sexually harassed and over-comfort them, they make fun of them while having this look on their face. Actually unreal. The way they set it up was a little dumb and very obvious. I mean, very obvious. How wouldn't she know that alcohol is flammable in some way? And even better, throw it out the window immediately? But that aside, the way it shows Veronica's anger in this moment is just brilliant and sets the mood immediately. Wait, sorry guys, I'm being way too nice. This scene is awful for reasons I can't give. Let's get back into it.
You stupid fuck.
You goddamn bitch.
Thank you, Veronica, for saying what we were all thinking. After Veronica rightfully says that, Heather goes on and on and on about how she saved Veronica.
You were nothing before you met me. You were playing Barbies with Betty Finn. You were a bluebird. You were a brownie. You were a Girl Scout cookie.
Honestly, if this scene was any more cringe, it'd be the video equivalent of the lethal injection. Then, the people's favorite makes a surprise appearance. JD. He shows up to have sex. I know, there's no way around it. He even says it himself as they apparently played a
Game of strip croquet.
Him spending the night here is yet another painfully obvious setup for the next scene, which I'm excited to talk about.
Induce her to spew red, white, and blue, then.
What about, like, milk and orange juice? What's the upchuck factor on that?
I'm a no-rust build-up man myself.
JD is a walking red flag anytime he is on screen. Like, as hilarious as this joke is, I can't take him seriously when he immediately jumps to liquid drainer with no hesitation. But then again, Veronica suggesting milk and orange juice as a combination for Heather is basically equal.
Okay. Milk and orange juice.
I thought the same thing. No way she didn't double check which glass she grabbed. That would be dumb and way too cliche. All I have to say is only in Heather's. So they bring Heather their homemade hangover cure. After some skepticism, she drinks it and, as you guessed, dies immediately. Something that is a bit funny is how they react. I'm sure no one watching her die is crying, but this is an insane way to handle it.
I just killed My best friend.
And your worst enemy.
Same difference.
Like, I expected JD, but Veronica. I mean, you accidentally kill someone and your reaction is this? Veronica forges a suicide note, and as we saw before, is a god at this anytime she does it. Definitely isn't plot convenience. As a result of this suicide, it causes people to do something I have to praise this movie for showing. The way people handle grief. From it being reasonable.
Sorry to hear about your friend. Thought she was your usual airhead bitch. Guess I was wrong. We all were.
To it being straight unreal.
Heather and I used to go out, but she said I was boring. But now I realize I really wasn't boring. It's just that she was dissatisfied with her life.
Bruh.
While Veronica is over at JD's house watching the news of Heather C. mourners, we are introduced to JD's dad. He is unhinged, but about his job at least, which is
Big Bud Dean Construction?
Some damn tribe of withered old bitches just wanted to terminate that flea bag hotel. Huh. All because Glenn Miller and his man once took a shit there. Just like Kansas. You remember fucking Kansas?
Yeah, that was the one with the wheat, right?
Yeah, Save the Memorial Oak Tree Society. Showed those fucks.
and when things are going well for too long, that is when Jason decides to drop this.
Last time I saw my mom, she was waving from a library window in Texas. Right, Dad?
Right. Son.
What a way to bring up your mom for the first time to your girlfriend. The funeral goes how you would expect it to in a movie like this.
I blame not Heather, but rather a society that tells its youth that the answers can be found in the MTV video games.
Dear God, please make sure this never happens to me, because I don't think I can handle suicide. Fast early acceptance into an Ivy League school, and please let it be Harvard. Amen.
I prayed for the death of Heather Chandler many times. And I felt bad every time I did it, but I kept doing it anyway. Now I know you understood everything.
While at it, Heather Mack asked Veronica if she would be willing to join her, Kurt, and Ram, as I'm sure you guys know and love, to hang out. This goes wonderfully, of course. I'm a bad liar, I have to admit. Luckily, Veronica gets out of this situation safely, and bringing up the musical again, way more happens here. Like what we saw before with this movie, sexual harassment they don't shy from. One of the few times I'll say thankfully JD was there. Since the jocks are gentlemen, they take it upon themselves to spread a rumor about Veronica.
Okay, now I rarely listen to Neanderthals like Kurt Kelly, but he said that he and Ram had a nice little sword fight in your mouth last night. You know what I mean?
Ew!
Naturally, Veronica and JD feel a certain way about this. So they decide to trick them into going into the woods. And obviously, because Veronica doesn't want to kill, JD takes it upon himself to come up with the most believable and brilliant story ever to convince her.
Do you take German?
French.
All right. These are Ich Luge bullets. My grandfather snared a shitload of them back in WW2. They're like tranquilizers. Only they break the surface of the skin enough to cause a little blood, but no real damage.
So it looks like the person's been shot and killed, and really they're just lying there unconscious and bleeding? Ooh.
I'm definitely sold on the explanation. Nothing seems off about it at all. Like, what do you mean he said I'm lying in German? Well, if Veronica trusts this, then so do I. I'll let JD explain the plan.
See, we shoot Kurt and Ram, make it look like they shot each other, and by the time they regain consciousness, they'll be the laughingstock of the whole school. The note's the punchline. How'd that turn out?
Ram and I died the day we realized we could never reveal our forbidden love to an uncaring and ununderstanding world. The joy we shared in each other's arms was greater than any touchdown, yet we were forced to live the lie of sexist, beer-guzzling jock assholes.
Seems simple enough. No way this could go wrong. That suicide note, I'm gonna hold my tongue on until later. But trust me, there's so much wrong with it. The jocks show up, and Veronica, keeping up the act, gets them to undress. After doing so, JD shoots and kills one of them, and tells Veronica to do the obvious. And at first she misses, but eventually she pulls off the insta-kill. What is killing me about all of this is the fact Veronica actually believed those bullets would only make them unconscious, when JD handles any talks of killing super casually. The police get there, and with their incredible detective work, rules it out to be a double suicide of gay lovers forced into hiding. Somehow one of the few realistic scenes in this movie.
I don't care that you really were some pansy. You're my own flesh and blood, and no, you made me proud. My son's a homosexual, and I love him. I love my dead gay son.
Up something for the first time in a video that bothers me a bit. There are different clips I've left out, like this one.
Doesn't this cafeteria have a no fags allowed rule?
And this one.
All right, you piece of shit fag. You like to suck big dicks? Cut it out. I like to suck big dicks. Oh, I can't get enough of them. Are you satisfied?
Now I know what you're gonna say. This is 1989, and you know what? I can understand where you're coming from. But I don't think it is that strong of an excuse here. Kurt and Ram were ignorant on a topic, and deciding using it as a joke or insult was the funniest thing ever, which isn't surprising, of course. But I wonder why they made them gay lovers, and not go a little deeper than that, because it can only be perceived as them reinforcing the insult the jocks did onto others. Simply put, it is using being gay as a final insult and a suicide note, which makes this funeral scene have no impact. You're definitely allowed to make jokes about these topics, of course, but they handle suicide, teen selfishness, exceptionally well in a hilarious way, but they overlook this for the sake of a joke, sadly. If I'm totally missing the mark, you're definitely valid in disagreeing. I'm not crazy enough to not hear criticism of this point, or totally write off someone else's opinion. Just thought I would say it. The emotion of this moment is impactful, sadly. It is a little halted by the fact JD does this without a care in the world. It shows just how in pain Veronica is internally over it, in a straightforward way. And it is a nice contrast to JD's I don't care attitude. Teachers, realizing how wrong they were, decided to listen to the guidance counselor, Miss Fleming, who decided the school should get together. And I was a fan of this idea, until you see the camera crew walk in. All I'm saying is, what a weird thing to make an event. And this line here is insane.
You need a VHS?
No, oh my God, young man. Kill yourself!
But who am I to say this?
Face it, our way is the way. I mean, we scare people into not being assholes.
Our way is not our way.
Oh, yeah? Tell that to the judge, all right? Tell it to Kurt Kelly. Oh, God, Veronica.
I'm telling it to you!
Jason is on new levels of hate I've never seen before. Man isn't afraid to hold back at all.
Like my mother. They said her death was an accident, but she knew what she was doing. She walked into the building 2 minutes before my dad blew the place up. Waved at me and boom.
I'm just gonna say it. This scene has no impact, because even if I wanted to feel bad for his character, he has in no way shown any emotional depth or characteristics that you can latch onto and make him stand out. He is written and portrayed really poorly in the movie. Here I am, bringing up the musical again, but I'm kind of forced. This scene just feels way more emotional and just way more impactful in the musical because he is just shown to be this complex character. Which makes it funny how in the movie, he is just this hollow, void of emotion character that's entire existence is trying to kill for his own greater good. But all of a sudden, you get a sad backstory and oh my God, no! No! I'm crying, guys. You hear the tears running down my face? Michael Lehman was trolling. Like, try and say with a straight face, I feel so bad for JD in this movie.
That's it. We're breaking up.
What? You can't bring him back. You must know that.
I am not trying to bring anybody back except maybe myself.
Again, bro has no chill no matter where he's at. So I can't help but root for Veronica for going at him, especially after that.
Can't you see these little programs are eating suicide up with a spoon? They're making it sound like it's a cool thing to do.
Are you trying to tell me it is not a time for troubled youth? Stand up straight.
All we want is to be treated like human beings, not to be experimented on like guinea pigs or patronized like bunny rabbits.
I must thank Veronica for saying what I was thinking, but sadly, her mom cooked her almost immediately.
Treated like human beings? Is that what you said, little Miss Voice of a Generation? Just how do you think adults act with other adults? You think it's all just a game of doubles tennis? When teenagers complain that they want to be treated like human beings, it's usually because they are being treated like human beings. Want some pâté?
Crazy work. Martha Dunstock, tired of being the school punching bag, goes into... Wait, better yet, we should allow Heather Duke to explain it.
You heard? We were doing Chinese at the food fair when it comes over the radio that Martha Dump Truck tried to buy the farm. She belly flopped in front of a car wearing a suicide note.
Is she dead?
No, that's the punchline. She's alive and in stable condition. Just another case of a geek trying to imitate the popular people of the school and failing miserably.
I mean, that's the reaction we would all give, right? That was just beyond justified. We need an instant replay.
Look, Martha couldn't take the heat, so she got out of the kitchen. Just think what a better place this world would be if every Nimrod followed her cue.
This outlook on life is definitely a unique one from Heather D, because it is saying, to the boldest extent, some people aren't worth living. Makes me wonder how different Veronica's response to this would be if Martha passed. But for Martha's sake, I guess we're all glad we will never know, right? Heather Mack decides to call this radio station under the name
Tweety
and talks about how she is struggling with life.
Ooh, tweet.
God has cursed me, I think. The last guy I had sex with killed himself the next day. Failing math. My whole life is a mess. I was supposed to be captain of the cheerleading team.
She knows we listen to this show.
At school, Heather Mack is bullied while in class. Who didn't see that coming? Causing her to run to the school bathroom and try to take her life. Luckily, Veronica caught on and managed to stop her from overdosing. Now, this scene hit me when I first saw it, unlike the JD scene, for a number of reasons. A big one being it showed that despite how awful the people she hung around were, she wasn't as evil as them. Just a victim of following the crowd for better or worse. And it shows her humanity in a critical way. Jason took it upon himself to blackmail Heather Duke. Isn't that the JD we know and love? With childhood photos of her and Martha Dunstock being friends. And for what?
I want you to do a petition as a favor. As the favor. You've heard of the group Big Fun, right?
That's right. Teenage suicide. Don't do it.
Right. Some teeny bopper rag says that they want to play a prom. Now, it could be Westerberg's if we get everybody's John Hancock.
I'll get right on it, Coach.
A petition. I'm sure at this point we learned with JD just to wait and see, because it is never how it seems. From here on out, this movie did the impossible and found a way to get even crazier than it already is. So, brace yourself.
Yes?
Your friend Jason Dean stopped by. He seemed very concerned about you. He said that he thought you might try to kill yourself.
You have been depressed lately. Oh, he left this for you.
Oh my God.
He said that we should keep you away from sharp objects, closed garage doors, chemical substances, prescription drugs.
What a guy Jason is, looking out for Veronica's well-being. Surely this isn't insinuating something. Won't lie, this is a cool shot of JD. You have to be slumped to sleep like this. I mean, no night clothes, no nothing, just... They introduce a classic cliche, and that is a dream sequence. Most of the dream sequence is, well, boring. Like JD somehow being even more comically evil. The preacher guy is a professional yapper, as expected. But I'll give props here, as seeing Heather Chandler in a W fit was unexpected. It didn't feel unnecessary at all.
Damn!
After being an idiot most of the movie, Veronica pulls off a smart yet incredibly risky stunt, where she fakes suicide in hopes of tricking JD, as she knows his plan. I love this scene so much because yes, it is dark, but also makes you hope she is convincing enough to trick the sociopath known as Jason Dean.
Veronica! I should have let you take that job at the mall. It was just that I was afraid of you coming home late at night.
Can't be the only one to notice what she's saying, and the tone of how she is saying it is massively different. Like, let me give a representation. I'm dead.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh God. I just found my daughter hanging herself. This is so sad. Alexa, play Despacito.
Yes!
All I'm saying is if that was my kid, a heart attack would be bare minimum.
Hey, Mom. Why so tense?
Unhinged Veronica is the best, and I'm not afraid to admit this. Out of all the places to pull out your homemade bomb, you wouldn't expect the school bathroom, but we're dealing with JD here, so it makes tons of sense, right?
May I see your hall pass?
I knew that loose was too loose.
The delivery of this line and the awkward pacing makes this art. A warning I should give is the acting only gets worse and worse.
God damn you, woman.
Like father, like son. A series says fuck bomb in the boiler room to set off a pack of thermals upstairs. Okay, let's start by putting the bomb down on the ground.
Wow, JD sounds so threatened, and Veronica is locked in for sure. I mean, did you hear how she said that line? That should have invoked fear in your heart, at the fact she knows what he is doing, and is going to try to stop him. Oh, you feel nothing whatsoever? Guess you don't understand true cinema. Let me move on. Now, Jason knocking her out and walking off is confusing to me, and is yet another plot hole. He went to her house to get rid of her, but found out she is alive and knows your plan. So rather than remove her entirely, he walks away after knocking her out. Like, again, how much can I emphasize that? This plot armor Veronica has is next level. The fact that worked. This kickstarts the moment we have all been waiting for. JD and Veronica going at it once and for all. Jason's follow-up to Veronica hitting him is sexual assault? This guy is something else. Veronica, after getting out of it, goes for the gun, but doesn't realize she is dealing with the psycho that is JD. Right, guys? Wait, you still don't care? You're lost once again.
You think just because you started this thing, you can end it?
I'll kill you. I'll fucking kill you, I swear to God.
When Noah's tone not changing when she delivers that line is great, because it is such a contrast from Kristen's blatantly obvious overacting. Don't get me wrong, her delivery is awful, and so is Kristen's. I mean, great as in, it is so bad it's good kind of way.
How do I turn off the goddamn bomb, asshole?
Fuck you!
How did she miss here? But makes this precise of a shot under just as much, if not more, pressure.
You want to clean the slate as much as I do. All right, so maybe I am killing everyone in the school. Because nobody loves me. Let's face it, all right? The only place different social types can genuinely get along with each other is in heaven. What?
I just wiped away a second tear. As I said before, they made JD this one-dimensional, non-complex character. You can't feel bad for him here unless you inherently like him or you think just as he does. '80s Mumkey Jones stopped a school bombing.
Veronica, you look like hell.
Veronica, despite looking like she has been through war, gets shown little to no concern. Like, seriously? Covered in smoke, blood all on her, and she is limping, and not a single idiot in that school thought, maybe we should get her to a hospital. Maybe JD was right. The movie shows nothing about Veronica and Martha's relationship, so this scene can only be seen as random and is just to be nice. We have reached the end of the video. You can thank me later for making a proper use of your time. Heather's 1989 is truly a gift. Now I've tried doing this outro 1,000 times, and hopefully this one captures what I'm thinking. When I first went into this video, I expected to make a hit piece, because my first watch of Heather's I hated, and felt the praise didn't live up to it at all. But because it took me 3 months due to school and overall laziness, I found myself rewatching and came to realize that yes, this movie is incredibly dumb, but there's a charm to it that I felt like just hating on it, well, blindly, felt wrong. So I had to take the L and redo my video to be, well, more neutral, that's for sure. It is always weird coming to terms with changing my mind, and I guess I should say if you're watching this video because you hate Heather's or is iffy on it, I suggest just rewatching the movie again, because no matter what I think, I'm not you and I never will be. If you're a Heather's fan, then all I ask is acknowledge that plot holes exist and that JD is genuinely an awful character, regardless of how much you simp over him. And seriously, JD? Let me stop before this video becomes an hour. Once again, I'm saying watch the musical, because a friend forced me to watch it, and honestly, it is like Heather's, they actually took care of their mistakes. On that note, get the joke, suicide note, I'm hilarious, I know. You're laughing, I know. You're dying, wiping tears out your eyes, you're welcome. I can end the video. See you guys in the next one. Hopefully, it won't take me 3 months.
They got me started, I might as well finish it. I'm from Charlotte, you know how these niggas do, baby.